Hey, everybody. It is the DraftKings Over Under show or podcast, on a Friday, Juneteenth. I got the day off today. I'm straight up off the beach, Dan. I know we had a conversation with Touch and Rich this morning, and there's games tonight, and there's a game 7 in the NBA, which we'll get into. We're also on the radio tomorrow at 7 a.m., so quick pod, but it's funny this week in the NBA overall, dude. There was a lot of news broke this week.
I mean, yeah. Well, what's this? Let's just start with today's news, and then we'll start getting into gambling. But obviously, Kemba Walker, 16th overall pick, traded for Al Horford, and my boy, who I'm surprised that people don't really know a lot about. I mean, he had a monster game, against the Celtics. But I mean, I don't know. I'm a pretty big fan of Moses Brown. So, and then right now, Woj's just tweeting out, which is not, I guess, breaking news, but it's something that Brooklyn's Ime Udoka, Milwaukee's Darvin Ham, who we know Brad has some connection with, and the Clippers' Chauncey Billups are among the head coaching candidates who Boston hopes to interview for a second time. That's just the external candidates that he's talking about there. It doesn't include the internal candidates. So
is it fair to say that we've gone from hoarder Danny to trader Brad?
I mean, I don't know about that. I think the Walker thing was pretty simple to figure out. He clearly wants it out of here. I'm sure that there were promises made to him by Ainge. There are people, maybe Brad, that obviously weren't kept because of the injuries and really the emergence of Tatum and Brown and, a couple other things. So to me, I'm not surprised that they made the move. I'm surprised it happened so quick. But I also think that it lines up with exactly what Oklahoma City wants to do, continue to acquire picks. And would you be shocked if Kemba plays, 20, 30 games this year, looks half decent, they shut him down, and then, they trade him for a first round pick next year? That wouldn't shock me at all if the team misses out on a free agent. So no, I think that it's a trade that works really well for both sides. I think it's a win-win. Al Horford was really, really good for the Oklahoma City Thunder last year when he played. He was really, really good. I'll get that out there. And so, I think that I think it's a pretty good win-win. I'm very happy with the trade. I'm a big Moses fan. I'm a big Moses Brown fan. I think he's probably equivalent value-wise to a late first-round pick right now. So maybe it's in theory, if you make Moses Brown into a draft pick, maybe you're trading Kemba in 16 for 25 and Horford, and I would do that every single time. I think Moses Brown's going to be really good here. I think there's something else coming down the pipe along with that. If you're going to trade Kemba and you're getting back to, forward or, the bigs, I would say, you probably got to talk about getting rid of Tristan Thompson or Robert Williams, preferably, in my opinion, Tristan Thompson. So,
well, I'll just tell you a couple of things. I know I just got off the beach. This is literally my opening take. I haven't looked into this. I haven't been on Twitter. Dude, at the beach, you can't even see because of the sunlight on your phone. And then your phone gets hot, so the battery dies. So, this is literally fresh takes. What I remember about Moses Brown, he played at UCLA, right?
Yep.
Him and Shaq's kid were the two top 5 big man recruits that year, if I'm not mistaken. And what's it called? Yeah, and I remember the game he had against Oklahoma City this year, against the Celtics. He was undrafted. I would say right now, I think I'd agree with you in the wording that he's probably not a top 20 pick, but is his money a better use for the roster than drafting somebody who's a development project? Yes, I agree with that. I think the clear thing here, Dan, is Kemba wanted to move on, and the Celtics had to find a contract. And I was telling you the names, and we laughed at some of them. Horford made sense, but the question was, would you go back to it? They needed a big. They have another big. They can do something with Robert Williams now, if we're really talking. And maybe they want to play Robert Williams and Horford. Maybe Horford, maybe they work together in the offseason. The thing with Williams is he's either hurt or he needs to play hurt or play injured. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Long story short, I think they're taking a step back. You mentioned Horford when he plays, he's good. Kemba when he plays was good, but I will say I thought he was a no-show in the playoffs this year. I think he did dog it. I don't think Horford's ever dogged it. I don't in my life. I don't think he's ever dogged it. But real, just long story short, I remember how I had this wild take and people kind of like rolled their eyes about the 23-24 season. I think they're starting to look at it now, Dan. And my theory, crazy. That's fine. But now I think it's real that they're going to have no salary cap in 2023. And what, these guys are going to have 2 years left? They're either going to ask to be traded or they're going to rally around them, right? At that point?
I mean, so I don't know how the NBA rules work, but Horford's contract's only partially guaranteed for next year, obviously. And in that case, I think because I was talking to someone about this today, and I think I was wrong. If Horford's only partially guaranteed, I think his contract in a trade or his cap in a trade would only count for the guaranteed portion, right?
13 million, right?
13, 14 million. Yeah, whatever it is. Okay. So 13 million, let's say. So I think you'll be able to you'll be able to include, a guy like Al Horford, 13 million in a trade with a Marcus Smart or, someone of that ilk. Maybe it's an Evan Fournier, depending on assuming, something like that. I'm just saying something along those lines for hopefully a Bradley Beal, Karl Anthony Towns. Now, again, you're going to have to give up much more than that. It's not just going to be.
And speaking of that, I mentioned just speaking of that real quick. I mentioned Trader Danny versus Hoarder Brad. Dude, they made 27 picks the last 7 years. Do you know how many picks they have the next couple of years, dude? I think they only have. I'm going to look it up, but I think they only have. Now that I'm thinking about it, they only have, I think, 7 picks. The next, no first round, 1 second round pick next year, a first and a second, a first and a first. Then they only have because they traded all those futures. They only have 4 first round picks from 24 to 27. That's it.
Are you sure?
I'm looking at it right now. 21, 0 first round, 1 second round. In 22, they got 1 first round and 2 second round. 23, 1 first round, 1 second round. But they traded the 24th. They just traded the 25th, I think. But they made 27 picks the previous 7 drafts. Oh, sorry, 11 selections the next 7 drafts.
Yeah, I mean they still have plenty of first round picks though. Which I mean the second round picks again. Yep. Yeah, I mean outside of this year they have first round picks every year. So I think that if you're going to end up seeing, a Bradley Beal type trade, and it's not going to include Jaylen Brown, which I'm not saying this will happen. It's going to have to be close to salaries matching, and then if you really really want to make it happen, 5, 6, 7 first round picks. So anyways, we can move on. We can move on for the Celtics, but the point is that I think this trade is a win-win. I think it helps the Celtics with their flexibility. People are saying it's a step back. I don't agree with that statement. What was your biggest need last year? Was shooting with size. Size with shooting.
Big shooting.
And someone who can, and maybe someone who can play defense. And I think that Horford, even at 35 years old, gives that to you. Now he's not going to be the same guy as he was when he was here, but he's still going to give that to you.
If you're going to bet on it, who plays more games next year, Horford or
Kemba? Al Horford, and I don't think it's very close because regardless of how hurt he is, I just think that Kemba will get Oklahoma City will do the same thing as Horford. Horford was helping them win too many games. They shut him down. I don't see why this would be any different. So
I just real quick, I like NBA draft.net. They're fairly accurate. Number 16 pick would have been Josh Giddey, a point guard from Australia, but 17, Ayu Dosunmu.
Yeah, I mean, Dosunmu is which it sucks because I really like him. But listen, if the Celtics really want to trade back into the first round, they can. They
Yeah,
can find a way
they
to
can.
get a first round pick. So if there's someone they love, they can do it.
I don't,
That's why I'm not like
do,
freaking out or anything like this.
listen. The trade's fine, and I'm going to be honest with you. They can find point guards around the league, man. Like I hate to say, but like Reggie Jackson, say what you want about the guy. Like the guy was available, and any team could have taken him. Like you can find Derrick Rose will probably be available. I don't know if I want the guy. I'm just saying. I think they can find point guards anywhere, and I don't know. Maybe Marcus Smart becomes your point.
I certainly hope not. All right. All right. Well, let's move on from the Celtics. First off, let's talk about last night, Joe. The Bucks win going away against the Nets. Yeah, apparently Rich at least doesn't think the refs were a major influence in the game. I thought the refs were the story of the game, and that the NBA has gotten so good at this whole tanking thing or extending thing that whenever the Nets would get, first off, 10 straight free throws to open the game for the Bucks. Then the Nets cut it to 5, 2 free throws on 2 fouls down the floor, 2 free throws, and then they cut it to 5 again. Free throws on the foul of Middleton. 14 ends up with a 14 free throw disparity, Joe. Yeah. I thought that was the name of the game.
That's what I was going to say. So watching the game, I was kind of in and out of the game. From what I watched, did my eyes say, "Oh, the refs are screwed"? No, but when you look at the dude, you just got to all you got to do is look at the numbers, right? There was a foul. Oh, you know what? There was a couple of foul calls that I will say. On one, it was on Durant. I'm like, what is that? So yeah, I agree with you. There was definitely an extension happening, but I think if you were on the right betting side, I think the Bucks were the right side that night. I normally I would think that a team that wants to put you away does. I think this thing had 7 written all over it. And you know who? Somebody got trolled. Was it Stephen A. Smith who said, "Oh, they should sit KD."
Reggie Miller said that.
Oh yeah, Reggie Miller. He got crushed. But you know what though? He knew too, right? He knew what was going to happen at some point. I don't know. Game 7, man. I'm interested. I must watch. Obviously, the Nets should win at home. There's no doubt about it.
No, I mean, so what? I mean, let's talk about the game. It opens as a pick'em. I'll see if I can get the updated line.
I saw 1.5. I saw 1.5 Nets.
Okay, well, it local. Yeah, it opened as a pick'em. I'll see if I can get the updated line here. So then that was the opener across everything. Right now, let's see if this is the Nets Sixers line, unfortunately. But I mean, yeah, that's about, in my opinion, probably what it should be. Yeah, it's Nets -1 right now. Moneyline's -115. Look, I think the Nets should be favored in the game at home. You have to expect that Jeff Green will play better. You have to expect that Joe Harris will hopefully show up for that team. I think the Bucks have been resilient in this series due to the fact that, James Harden and Kyrie Irving are hurt. Honestly, if Kyrie doesn't get hurt, I don't think this series goes 7. I think this is ending at 6 maximum. And James Harden probably isn't playing until the ECF. But we are where we are. Listen, I'm going to ride the Nets. I think that I'm not going to PP it. I have plenty of futures on the Nets already. We've given them out, but that would be the side that I'm on. I do think that this is a team that is better than Milwaukee, and I know that Milwaukee was really good last night, Chris Middleton especially, but outside of that, it was really Middleton and Giannis, and I just don't buy that those two are, first off, A, going to get the foul calls in Brooklyn, and B, that that they're going to have Middleton on the road just isn't nearly the same player as at home. I cannot expect 38 from Chris Middleton again. If Harden gave you 15 or so, like he did last night, or maybe 20, I think you have a pretty good chance of winning if you're the Nets. And again, role players are going to play better at home. Jeff Green, hopefully Joe Harris, those guys will hopefully come up big. And I do like the Nets. I think it's going to be probably a pretty evenly bet. Game 7, I think there's going to be, after seeing the last game, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are on Milwaukee. Some people are on Brooklyn. I think it's gonna be pretty even game 7, whatever you like. I'm gonna go with the Nets there, Joe. And the total's the lowest in the series, 215. It's been going under and under and under. I feel an over here. I do.
Yeah, extender, right? Fouls, lead.
Yep.
Just keep it around. Maybe you can hit some threes. Yeah, and I actually have been surprised about some of the total numbers in this series, but it's been good. And I think overall, the Bucks, in my opinion, the Bucks have choked away a series. Like, yes, they have a chance still in a game 7, but like they could have they screwed up, man. And like the fact that they struggled down the stretch, Budenholzer's job's on the line. I don't think they're championship team. I don't. The Bucks, but I think they could have won this series earlier. And now you get a game 7 on the road. I know anything can happen. For my money, if it's a small number, I'm gonna take. I don't know. I don't know if I should PP it because I like you, I have Brooklyn winning as well. So it would be like a real I don't know, 5 down. I'd be like betting on them 6 times then. But in these situations, I like to take money line and the point. I'm gonna wait it out. Right? When's the game? Saturday night?
Tomorrow night.
Yep, Saturday night. So total, I'd lean over, but as a side right now, and then I know there's games tonight, but we should probably bring up Brooklyn is still the favorite to win the championship this year.
Yeah, and we'll discuss this game, I think, more in depth tomorrow as well. We'll talk about this on the show, and of course the results from tonight, which I think are going to be big. Speaking of tonight, Joe, 2 huge games. I'd say that there were 2 massive upsets in the NBA the other night, and I think it's both the Clippers and the Hawks who pulled. Both of them really pulled huge comebacks. I'd say the Hawks was a little bit more miraculous with the talent, I guess, disparity between the 2 teams. Tonight, Joe, Philly's -3, total sitting at 223. This feels like Philly's gonna bring this to a game 7, right? Philly's not gonna lose this in 6, and they're not gonna pull a Doc Rivers and lose in 6, are they?
Serious question: who are the refs tonight?
Well, let me see if I can.
And I'm looking at it right now. I'm on covers.com, so I don't know how accurate this line is. I see -3, 223 over under 730 tip.
So guess who is the ref tonight in Philadelphia, Atlanta?
It's either brothers or if it's brothers or Fosters, they're gonna extend it.
Scott Foster, baby, Scott Foster.
Dude, we might as well lay it on the -3.
I mean, at this point, it's really, really tough.
Let's do it. Wrangle it up, baby. PP Philly -3.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, you might be able to get a better number at some other books.
And I'll tell you, it's the square fucking side. It is super square. The Hawks are gonna be sharp, but yeah, I mean, Foster in this game is going to be.
And listen, this bet is a wrangle only. This is, I think Doc got on the players. I really do. Because dude, what else can Doc do? Blame himself? I know that's easy for him to do.
I just don't think that Doc is a very good coach.
That's fine. That's fine. Even if he takes himself, if he says, "Hey, I'm not fucking showing up," you guys got to get your shit together tonight. You know what I mean? You don't need me. You know what I'm saying? I'll fuck it up for you. So, like, I really do think it's on the players tonight because, in the end, if this team does succeed, Doc's not going to get the credit for going to a final, an Eastern Conference final.
Yep.
He's going to get fucking shit on for sucking all these years.
Yeah, and I think Philly wins tonight too. Yeah, so I mean we can double PP that one.
Let's go.
Yeah, double PP on Philly -3, -105 is the current number. And honestly, I won't be surprised if that number is 2 by tip. I just think Philly's not going to lose this game. They're going to bring it to 7. Now, the total, I don't have a great feel for the total in this one. This is probably one I'm going to lay off in terms of in terms of the total. It's just I think this will go either way. I think Atlanta could, the Philly needs a jump in the second half. Philly needs a jump in the second half. Joel Embiid's knee has not been good in the second half the past 2 games. Has not.
What
So
what
that's
would you
something to watch.
what would you do down the stretch differently? I know that their bench was in the game when they went on a little bit of a run, but is there a would you move like Ben Simmons to the 4? Let's just say, get him off the ball. Like I'm who would you put at point guard?
The problem is, I mean, unless you want to put in Maxey, they don't really have a legitimate point guard option. Yeah,
Harris could be the guy, but he doesn't want to play.
I don't think he wants to play point forward. I mean, if I'm Doc, the adjustment that I'm making is I'm playing Joel Embiid maybe a little bit less in the first half to try and make sure that the effectiveness is still there in the second half, because I think that that's been a big bugaboo for the Sixers, that Embiid's knee has been worn down, and I think that Clint Capella talked about it, where if you wear down Embiid, he's not the same. He's not as effective. And I think that we've seen that the past 2 games. And especially with that knee, I do think this is something that if I'm Doc Rivers, I am trying to rotate Joel Embiid in and out and saying, listen, Ben Simmons, you have to try and, muster up some of this, fucking Giannis courage and kind of do what Giannis did yesterday. Go to the hoop, drive to the hoop, do something, take over a game. You're supposed to be a star player. I know you're great on the defensive side, but I do think that's what the Sixers need to do, and just have Simmons go at John Collins, because I think that's a matchup that he would win inside at least. But if I'm the Sixers, Joel Embiid with a little bit of rest in the first half, and it's going to be tough closing out in Atlanta. Continuing the series in Atlanta for the 76ers team that's struggling, it's going to be tough. But I do think Philly -3 is the play. Money line is sitting there at -150. I may honestly dabble with the money line at that price instead. To be perfectly honest, I hate laying that. But all right, the other game tonight is Utah and the Clippers. So look, to me, again, this is another story of the Clippers winning a game that they probably shouldn't have. I think that the Clippers have a good chance to close the series out tonight. I do. I really do. I know that the Clippers are probably going to be the public dog and the public side tonight. I get that. Mike Conley coming back probably is going to be around the same effectiveness as James Harden, right? I don't think we can probably expect too much from him. And I think that's part one. Part two, Donovan Mitchell apparently got hurt in the last game, and he's a game time decision. Now he's going to play. I don't think anyone's worried about that.
What's funny is remember on the weekend show, the same thing. I read somewhere that his ankle wasn't right, and then they took him out by fourth quarter or whatever. He's not right. I was a little surprised the way that the Clippers played without Kawhi. A little bit. I don't know. I think they close it out tonight, Dan.
I do too. And we could, I think one of these teams closes it out tonight. I think one of these teams doesn't, and I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see. I don't think we're going to see 3 Game 7s. That's a lot to ask from the NBA, and I do think when it comes to the West, you look out there. If it's Utah Phoenix in the Western Conference Finals, man, listen, Phoenix has been a really fun team. If you're an NBA fan, Phoenix has been a really fun team to watch. The ratings for Utah Phoenix would be a fucking disaster. It'd be a disaster for the NBA. Like that. Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker are star power names. If you like it, already watch the league. If you don't, I don't know. Now, having it go 7, very possible. It's possible. I just think that the Clippers win the series, win one of the next 2 games, find a way. I think that they play differently without Kawhi, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. They seem to spread the ball more. And if Utah doubles Paul George, I think that's the wrong play too, because now you're giving open shots to guys like Luke Kennard, Reggie Jackson, we just kind of talked about, who's been, very dangerous. I don't think that that's the right way to go about it either. So I think if you're Utah, you need to be really, really careful on how you approach this game tonight.
So
really careful.
I want to share this with the listeners, but I think Lifshats is locked in on the actual analysis of what's happening in the games right now. Because like sometimes I like when we do this betting stuff, I like to look at it as, all right, what's the analysis, and then looking at the line. I think you're locked in analysis wise right now. I think you're locked in on this didn't work the last time, so this time you got to do this, and if they do this, then they're gonna cover. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I think you're locked in right now on that shit.
I mean, it's just from watching the game and listening to some people. I mean, obviously, you're able to develop your own opinions watching the games. I also got to say, Joe, I don't complain a lot about losses. I usually just fucking take it. I just feel like I've been fucking burned this NBA playoffs. The Lakers first with Anthony Davis got burned. Then I take the Nets and James Harden and Kyrie Irving get hurt. Then I take the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard gets hurt. Like, well, listen, I feel like I'm just getting fucked here. And I can't really complain about it because everyone has injuries. I'm being a little bitch.
No. It's fine. You know what? If you want to say you're a little bitch about it, fine.
I am. It's okay.
Do we say the same about LeBron? Being a little bitch about it?
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. I'm being a little bit of a LeBron right now.
I mean, listen, that guy knows the league. LeBron knows the league better than anybody. Literally better than anybody. And so we can say whatever we want about the guy. He fucking knows the league. But he called the shit. He called it. Now, did he call Chris Paul getting COVID?
That's not fair. I don't think you can include Chris Paul in that. But,
exactly.
But Chris Paul getting hurt the first time? I mean, again, I know that, and everyone's been saying, "Oh, he's stepping on ankles." Yeah, but like, there's a lot of times where guys step on ankles in the NBA and don't get hurt nearly as bad as the stuff that's happening right now. Like guys have been stepping on ankles since the start of basketball. That's not anything super new there. So yeah. I don't know. This is it is frustrating, and I am 1,000,000,000% being a little bitch about it, but it is frustrating. I will say, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I've been casually dabbing. I've actually bet almost. I can't say because I've almost bet every game, but for me the second halves have been money. The Nets easily came back -4. I knew the Bucks were going to take care of business last night. They did. They were only 1 point. Was it 1 point last night, dog?
I thought the Nets it was 5. It was 5. I thought the Nets played horribly last night, and I thought if the refs don't get themselves inserted into that game, I think there's a chance Brooklyn wins.
Yeah, no, I meant second half. I thought it was 1.5.
Oh yeah, the second half.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. These second halves, man, I've been I've been cherry picking, and it's been a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. I think the only one I've lost this week, I had the Hawks come back, but both 76ers. I had the Hawks. I'm trying to think of what else has been happening, but the Jazz series, the Clippers, I've been all over. I think they lost one of the games I was on. But usually the league's predictable. It's not this year, and that's if you want to bitch about it, I think that's the that's your real argument here. But so before obviously tomorrow, we'll obviously do a show. But if you were gonna put money right now on a team to win it all, who would it be?
Okay, so I just made my first purchase on PropSwap ever.
Hey!
Shout out Luke Pergandy.
Luke's gonna be on with us tomorrow.
Perfect. Well, I'll let him know. I bought a Clippers ticket today at 9-1 value, which is better than most of the sports books I can find.
What did you pay for it?
Let me see. I'll tell you the exact ticket. I believe I paid $450 for the ticket. Let's see. Yeah, I paid $450 to collect 4,500. So it's 9-1. Yep, legal ticket. Purchased it on the Clippers. I do think that looking ahead, I think the Clippers will close out the series one of the next two games, and I do think that looking ahead, Phoenix without Chris Paul is a problem. Because I think the Clippers match up pretty fucking well against that team. I mean, the Jazz are a much better three-point shooting team than Phoenix. And I think even they, outside of the first quarter the other night, are having trouble shooting threes, and at least in the last few games against the Clippers. And I know that Kawhi obviously was part of that, but even still, I think that everyone is so in on Phoenix and Utah right now. And I think that the Clippers come out of the West, and man, I'm really interested to see what happens in the East. I think Brooklyn gets by Milwaukee, scrapes by, and then I hope it's Atlanta. I hope it's Atlanta, because if it's Atlanta, I feel very good about Brooklyn advancing. If it's Philly, we need to see where Joel Embiid's health is. And man, I am a little bit concerned about the lack of size. I think DeAndre Jordan will really have to start playing some minutes there, because there is a lack of size for Philly.
Well, for
Brooklyn
ratings sake, Clippers Phoenix might get people interested because of the COVID effect and whatever. And hey, no, Paul George still a big name, and he's been a choker. Let's be honest. And Chris Paul, for that matter. I mean, you got two of the biggest chokers going at it, if that's the case.
I know.
And then you look on the other side, if the Nets can advance, let's say it's against. See, the Hawks, I think, are the exciting team. Because the Bucks are boring. I'm sorry, the Bucks are boring. I know Giannis is like this monster, and they bore me. But 76ers, that Final Four, I think you'll get good ratings. And then, yeah, I don't know. Does Kyrie come back for games, or is he ruled out?
No, he's not coming back.
Fucking bitch.
I don't think we'll see Kyrie back until the NBA Finals. Honestly, I don't think so.
Do you think they miss? Maybe they do. Yeah.
Do they miss Kyrie? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the way Brooklyn looked with Durant and Kyrie compared to Durant and 75% of Harden.
I'm only saying that because you remember when Kyrie wasn't with the Celtics.
As you know, we can be frustrated about it as Celtics fans, but just from a non-biased gambling standpoint, where you're placing your money, losing Kyrie is a big loss for Brooklyn.
Kyrie was the best player they've had on their team since Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. He's the best player they've had on their team.
I'd say Jason Tatum. Now, okay. I think Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum this year has overtaken that.
But I just think that people forget, Kyrie's still one of the top 20 players in the league. I don't care what you say.
Definitely.
People can argue if Tatum's there yet or not. Whatever, it's an argument for another day.
Tatum is top 20. I'd be very surprised if there.
The league only thought he was. Well, yeah, I guess the league. He couldn't make the 15 there.
I mean, he nuts and bolts. He got screwed. So
yeah, isn't that funny? All right. So, any more basketball? I think that's all we got, right?
Yeah. So that's it right now. Looking ahead in the futures market. Well, first off, we talk about the series prices. Philly is plus 130 or plus 135 on the series price. I think it's not a bad price if you think Philly's going to win tonight.
Exactly.
Because then you'll end up getting plus money on the Hawks side. Not a terrible concept. I think I'll probably take a little bit on the Sixers series to try and come back on the Hawks and maybe even it out a little bit on Game 7. To me, I don't think there's no huge edge there or anything special. I think you got to play Philly at plus money, even with the choking dog, Doc Rivers. I think Atlanta might pull out one of these two games. I'm not positive. Maybe. In terms of the Clippers Jazz, Clippers are minus 160. I feel pretty confident about the Clippers winning this series. I don't like
the 160, but I agree with you. I think
even if they lose tonight, I still think that they have a very good chance of winning the series. Now, Joe, when it comes to when it comes to the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, I think this is where you can currently find some value on the board, right? I think this is where you can find some value on the board. If you think Philadelphia is going to come back in the series, Philly to win the East is plus 525. If you think Atlanta is going to come back to win, is going to win that series, Atlanta's plus 650. I cannot imagine that Brooklyn or Milwaukee are going to be better than minus 300 ish in an Atlanta series or a Philly series. So I think that there's some legitimate value there. The problem is you got to choose the right one, because if you choose the wrong one or you play both, then you're already losing, a large chunk of your value off the top. There's no value there. So if you think Philly's going to come back and win this series, you could probably shop around, get a 550 to win the East. That's a ticket that I don't think is the worst ticket in the world, especially if they win tonight. Scott Foster's the ref. I think we all feel pretty good about Philly, winning tonight. I don't think that's the worst ticket in the world, in my opinion. I'll plus 550 ticket on Philly in the East. And Brooklyn's, minus 110. Milwaukee's plus 150. That you can do whatever you want with. But I mean, just in terms of the East, I think there is value to be had in that Philly Atlanta series. It's picking the right side. It really is. I think I'd probably lay the 525. I can find a 550, 575 of Philly. I think I'd probably lay that. Joe, when it comes to the West, this is what was pretty shocking to me yesterday, and the market has moved. But Clippers are up 3-2. They're minus 160 in the series. Utah's plus 220 to win the West, and the Clippers are plus 300. Now, I get it. And Phoenix was minus 150-ish. I get it. I do, because what you're trying to say is, well, Utah's a harder matchup for Phoenix and still, it was a mispriced line. I hope you took advantage of it. That line has been corrected now. The Clippers are around plus 225 to win the West, and Utah's down to plus 250. So that's about right. Again, I don't think there's any tremendous value there. You could have gotten value in the West when I posted it a couple weeks ago. I think we got 3 plus 300 and then plus 800 or whatever. So I mean, whatever. Regardless, I'm just saying. I think if you're looking for value in the playoffs, still, the win the East right now holds the most value for a futures ticket if you're still looking to invest in. And again, I know people hate talking about, championship odds, but, right now, I just got a Clippers 9-1 ticket on Prop Swap. You can probably find them 8.5-1. Brooklyn is in that, plus 200 range. Milwaukee's plus 500. There's not a lot of value, I think, in the NBA championship with the actual odds there. Brooklyn plus 220, Phoenix plus 250, Milwaukee plus 400. Sorry, not 500. Utah plus 600. The Clippers plus 800, which is 8-1. Philly 12-1 and Atlanta 16-1. Again, I think you're going to find the most value in the Philly Atlanta series, and it's going to be one of those. I would try and get a legit ticket on this if you were interested, maybe to look to sell for Prop Swap. That's just me. It's up to you. I just think that might be interesting.
All right, dude. So listen, there's a game on the Euros at 3:00. I actually have a pick and a player prop on that game, Dan. So I don't know if you want to do that shortly, if you want to get into the NHL and kind of wrap that up. What else on the table? I mean, I don't want to get into the gambling thing. You can listen to 98.5 The Sports Hub from Toucher and Rich this morning if you want to get the dirt on that. Was there anything else you wanted to cover? I know NHL's tonight as well. I just wanted to get into that Euro game. That's really all I have.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really have a lot for the Golden Knights Montreal game. I'd say Golden Knights at minus 325 to win the series, down from the 500 opener that they were at. Excuse me. Holds some value to me. Not that I'd tell you to lay the minus 325 because I think that's too much. But if you can find an alt line in the series, maybe a minus 170-ish, I think is the line they were looking at. I don't think that's too bad. I think Vegas wins tonight. I do.
Do you know what the over is in the last 7 meetings? 5-0-2.
Yeah, it's juiced up heavily tonight. I think this is going to be a very defensive battle. I'd lean under 5 in this one. Now I know, and we could talk about Tampa Bay and the Islanders tomorrow. So we'll save that. The Euro today. So the 3:00 game is England Scotland.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you say on this one. Dan, I've been making my own plays. I've only bet a few of the games, but I like to track some of my own. So today I had Swiss 1-0. They won 1-0, right?
You mean Sweden?
Sweden 1-0, and then the next game I had under 2.5, 2 goals. I think is what it was. And why we have written down here England 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, so looking at the English lineup, I mean, I'm surprised that Jadon Sancho didn't get in the lineup. Not starting. I'm surprised that Reece James is starting for England, and they're basically their right back position. I don't love the lineup that England is using today, and I mean, I do like the attack. I think Sterling, Kane, Mount, and Foden give you some, a little bit of speed. And I mean, obviously, Harry Kane has been maybe the best striker on the planet right now. He might be the best number 9. It's right up there. I think that Scotland is going to be probably slightly underrated in this game. I lean the dog, not on the money line, on the spread, the +1.5. I don't love. I don't love it, but I do think the +1.5 with Scotland today, -110. It's interesting to me. I think honestly, I'd look under in Scotland. I do think that they're going to be correlated. The over and the fave, and the under and the dog.
The last time they played, it was 2-2, some crazy friendly from a few years ago. But England's gone unbeaten. I think they haven't lost or unbeaten in the last 7 matchups versus Scotland.
I will say Scotland lost 2-0 to the Czech Republic, and it was embarrassing.
2-0,
yeah. That was an embarrassing loss. I mean, we're gonna find out. I do think that this is a game where there's a chance that Scotland might have actually overlooked Czech, which is pretty funny.
You are right. You're right about that.
Yeah, might have actually overlooked Czech, even though it's a 3-game group play and you really can't fucking do that. They might have overlooked them for this game. I mean, this is a huge game. Obviously, England, Scotland are rivalry-ish. So I mean, this is a pretty big fucking game for both sides. I think Scotland on the +1.5 is not the worst play I've ever made. So
okay,
not that I'm PPing it, but I just
think
that's simple. Okay.
I think England wins, but don't even mess around with the money line. Don't even look at 300, whatever. The thing is, at minus, my local right now has England -1.5, -105, and I think I'm going to jump on it, but I'm going to take Harry Kane to score. Now, here's my question, Dan. If I take Harry Kane to be an anytime scorer, it's -125. It was, and dude, I was at the beach. I was going to bet it earlier. So it was -105 earlier in the day. Now it's gone up to 25. Should I bet that, or should I double bet first scorer, last scorer +230?
I honestly, I wouldn't bet anything with Kane to be the lack of value for betting these big name players in tournament games like this to score is, really massive. And
well, I get Ronaldo, but I mean, I know Kane's one of the best. I know.
Yeah. There's a lack of value. I just will say that I think that the way Scotland lines up with Billy Gilmore, who's he's going to play basically defensive mid from Chelsea. Now, he didn't play a ton this year, but he was purchased from them. I think he's a very, very good young player. The way that Scotland lines up defensively, they're going to drop a lot, and with McTominay, who's from United, and Tierney, if you are any sort of Arsenal fan, Christian Tierney, or Kieran Tierney, excuse me, he's going to sign a 5-year extension and probably is going to captain Arsenal very, very soon. I think that they have a pretty good defensive plan. I don't love playing the anytime goal scorers. I think there's such a lack of value in the anytime goal scorer department. I want Kane at even money at worst. If I'm going to bet that, even money at worst.
So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to give you minus 1.5 England PP.
Okay.
If you really want, I know you're into the Asian line.
Yep.
I think minus 1.25 is also another bet that's I know I won't PP it, but I think that's worth a play. I'm looking at the Asian line here, and then our buddy Ben June says a final of 2-0 England is plus 450.
You gonna PP that too?
PP 2-0 England plus 450, and I'm gonna dabble. Okay, all right. Harry Kane anytime minus 125. So I'll PP that. But so there's 3, right? I'm all in today. Wife's gone. I just went to the beach. I'm about to take a shower. I got a pizza upstairs. Like, dude. All right. Okay. Dude, you know why I love Dan? You know why I like Euro soccer?
Why?
Because it starts on time. So at 3:00, when this thing's over, I'm gonna be upstairs half naked with a pizza watching England. All right.
All right.
Ole. So you know what? I'm gonna PP Harry Styles there. The hell's his name there? Harry Kane.
Harry Kane.
Harry Styles. Harry Kane minus 125 to score anytime, and on a side PP, and then a side bet. I'm gonna put $25 on him to be the first scorer, and $25 to be the last scorer, but I won't PP those. Okay. I'm just telling you what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I'm in 105 minus 105 minus 125. So I'll put $100 on all these. So minus 125 minus 105. That's for Kane and England, and then I'm gonna put. Oh geez, I'll put 50 on the 2-0. I'll put 100, whatever that, and then I'll take 25-25 on Harry Styles to be the anytime the first or last score.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I
all that.
I did. I got it. I disagree. I'm gonna go with you're gonna have to text me all that, by the way, so I can put it up later. I'm gonna go with Scotland plus 1.5. I think that the whole world's gonna be on England.
So I'm in the hole $405 if none of this happens.
Okay, all right. I think we see a 2-1 game or a 1-0 game. I think that's something.
I don't like that, Dan.
All right.
The look ahead might be a good take on that one, though.
All right, so I will give something out today before we get to gambling in Massachusetts, because I do want to talk about that. Tampa Bay, Seattle today. 4 is the run line in the first 5 innings. Give me the over 4. PP that. Yeah, I mean that to me that's a play. Unfortunately, I have to make. And so that I'm going to be over on that one. And then give me, let's see, who did I want to take here? And then give me the Atlanta Braves minus a half a run. Minus 120 in the first 5 innings. So Atlanta minus a half a run first 5. And then give me Vince Velasquez under 4.5 strikeouts plus 120. So there you go. There's my little baseball minute for the day. Oh, actually, one more. Give me Oakland, New York over 5 first 5 minus 110. So there you go. I just gave out 4, I believe 4 picks, right?
Well, dude, it's Friday, man. We're not even at the weekend yet. Dude.
I know. I'm trying to make up for yesterday.
It's Juneteenth. I got Friday off. I got money to burn. So I just got paid. It was so all right. So all right. Maybe we should recap this, or should we just let everyone figure it out?
Why don't we save it for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Actually?
No, but we want to recap our PPs or no? We'll recap them tomorrow. We'll
recap them tomorrow. Yep.
All right, cool.
So there you go.
So all right. Well, I am all in on the old England baby today. And it's 250, Dan. It's I think that's all I have to bet on today. We're back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9. Oh, I wanted to just share this quickly. The Sports Hub has t-shirts. Fuck it. It won't work. I tried. We have t-shirts, everybody. Go to the store and buy them. The stickers came in the other day for me. Oh, yeah. There we are. See? Can you see behind us? It's Bankroll Boy shirts.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I can see.
So you can go to 98.5 The Sports Hub and then click store, and you can get t-shirts. They come in Bankroll Boy size up to 4XL.
There you go.
I haven't got my t-shirts yet, but I bought them already. I did get my sticker in the mail, though.
Nice.
So go. I want to see people wearing this when we go to the Cape, Dan. I want to see Bankroll Boy shirts on. I want to see them when we go to like events. You know what I mean? And you know what got thrown at me today? Maybe you were there. Nick Jamel. Maybe we're gonna talk about this one tomorrow on the air. Nick, I flirted the idea of a Nick Gemelli bachelor party.
Yep.
Like, a Sports Hub, keep it PG-13 rated R, And then today he goes, "Were you serious about that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was." So I sat at the beach all day. And I'm like, "What could we do?" And then I'm like, "Well, Tucker's going to be in tomorrow. He's the best man. So let's put it on his shoulders."
Ooh, I like that. I like that. All right, we'll get talking about tomorrow.
We'll give each other 10 minutes, 9 minutes. That's it for today.
Yep.
It's gonna be a good one, man. We got 2 games tonight, hockey, and the Euros start in 8 minutes. So thank you for everybody chiming in. We're back tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. on 98.5 The Sports Hub. We'll post this shortly. And again, this has been another edition of the Over Under Podcast.
Who you got?
Later.